Hey, welcome back. Good to see you again. Let's go ahead and look at this question. Now, this question is a very good question. It's because it actually requires two areas of mathematics to solve this question. I love these questions, and I think when you look at it, you would like it too. So the first thing is that you question is asking you what is the area. I'm just looking at the bottom part right here, calculate the area of the plywood, and this is given to you. And notice that the area of a plywood, so this plywood, the area, the shape of this area is actually a rectangle, right? So this is, we know that's a rectangle. Okay, now, but here's the thing. To find the area of a rectangle, we need the width, which is right here, but we also need the length, okay? And that is not given to us. But we can see that there is this triangle is being created because it's a ramp, right? So it's a kind of a 3D, even though you can see it in 2D, but it's 3D kind of a shape. So to find this ramp, the measure of this ramp, the length of this ramp, we have this triangle, the base, that is helping us to solve for that. And you guessed it, we have this angle here, we have this side of opposite to that angle there. So we have to use trigonometry. So we have rectangle, we're going to use the area, and then we have this triangle right here that we have to use trigonometry, trigs, ratio. Now, I'll tell you which ratio we have to use, but that's what we're going to do. Okay, now we need to, based on that triangle, we're going to use a trig ratio that involves, so based on this triangle, I'm going to redraw that triangle for you. So here is the triangle that I have taken, that triangle right there. I just redrew it here. I know this is the freestyle. You can do that too, okay? Not the perfect triangle, but that's what that is. But remember that this triangle is actually a 90-degree triangle. That means a right angle triangle. And in a right angle triangle, what do we call the longest side of a right angle triangle? We call this hypotenuse, okay? The right angle triangle sides labeled. Now, this side right here, which is opposite of 9 degrees, that is giving us the sign of what ratio, trigonometric ratio, we need to use. And the ratio that we're going to use, now remember your acronym for the trig ratios, right? So this was SOH for sine over sine is opposite over hypotenuse. CAH, so CAH, that's adjacent over hypotenuse. And then TOA, TOA, that is tangent, is opposite over adjacent. Okay, so now here, which of these three trig ratios we need to use that involves opposite and hypotenuse? Well, it is the sine. Write this sine equation as sine of 9 degrees equal to 0.8 over, let's call this h. Let's call this hypotenuse h, which is the length of that rectangle. All right, now we're going to manipulate this. So to 0.8 divided by sine of 9 degrees, and then you're going to use your calculator, and then you're going to come up with an answer. And here is the answer. So we have 5.114. When I punch that into calculator, we got hypotenuse, which is this length of the hypotenuse, which is equivalent to the length of the rectangle, this shaded rectangle. All right, now that we have the h, which is the length of that, we're going to use the rectangle area. Now the area of a rectangle, AR rectangle, is equal to length times width. Well, that's just too easy now. Length is 5.114 times 2 meters. And then you do the math on that one, you get 10.228 centimeters. You could round it down or up, but it all depends on what the question is asking you. But 10.2 also is approximation for that answer, and that's centimeters, actually meters. Very good. So this is how you solve this question. It is very simple question, but requires two things. First of all, geometry, and then trigonometry. So two things. So this is specifically for Algebra 1, grade 10 math students. These are the questions that are actually require you to use two or more concepts in mathematics to solve it. All right, thanks for watching. If this was helpful to you, subscribe. If you found this useful, subscribe, like the video, leave a comment below. Let me know what else you want to look at so that I can go over that, and come back and see more videos. Okay, take care.